So here's the big question: how to become the most effective human on anything on the planet super fast, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. What if I told you that there is a simple way to shortcut your entire learning and become the most effective person in any field? And the interesting part is it's not magic. It's actually just strategy. And one of the most powerful strategies is learning from people who have already mastered what you are trying to achieve. So today I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Today I'm going to show you, number one, how to reach out to experts and get them to mentor or consult for you. Number two, how to use AI to distill and cut through the clutter. And number three, how to build a framework to learn any topic and retain it forever. The best part is at the end of this, you're going to have a complete system, a framework to dominate any skill or goal. So let's get right into it. The first one is the phase one, I call it, is the how to adopt a 20% obsession mindset. We've all heard about this idea of the 80-20 rule, right? How do you adopt a 20% mindset? Because if 80% of the things that we do are semi-irrelevant, how do you look at every opportunity and say, what is that 20%? So the goal here is to first focus on the 20% that matters the most. Now, how do you do that? Most people spend 80% of their time on tasks and ideas or information that just don't move the needle. The key is to identify and master the small inputs that produce the biggest results. Again, the small inputs that produce the biggest results. The question is, how do you do that? So for example, if you want to play the guitar, you don't need to learn 100 chords. You don't need to learn any bar chords. You just start with the 4 essential ones. The artist, Ed Sheeran, uses 4 to play nearly every pop song.
I mean, I could play you every song in the pop charts right now over 4 chords. You name any song and I'll play it in the 4 chords. So these are the chords.
If you want to learn marketing, don't waste time on learning advanced strategies. Master customer research and messaging first. Our goal is to always ask, what is the 20% that drives all the results here? That is the most important part about everything. Now, that transitions us to phase 2. Phase 2 is how do you leverage experts to shortcut your learning? Now, if you have not been familiar with this, the fastest way to find the 20% is to hire somebody that already knows it, right? Why do we send our children to school and instead of just giving them an iPad? There's a reason for that. And that is super, super important. How do you find that expert? And most importantly, it is actually not even finding the expert. You and I both know the expert that we need to hire or that we need to reach out to, but we don't. And the reason is there's a block. And the block is, what do you reach out and tell the expert? You feel like you're asking them for advice. What if they don't respond? And we go in this mental loop overall. So how do you reach out to experts? Here is the simple DM script that I want to give you to connect mentors, YouTube creators, or industry leaders. And it goes something like this. You say, hi, Sharran, I love your work. I'm working on a project and hoping you can help me. Are you open to paid consulting? Let me know. I'll say it again. Hi, Sharran, I love your work. I'm working on a project and hoping you can help me. Are you open to paid consulting? That's all you need to say. And now that shows the other person one important thing. It's clear and respectful, right? It's short, it's clear, and it's respectful. Most people love sharing their expertise, especially if you value their time and their effort by offering to pay. That's the big shift. If you just know how to reach out to somebody, you'll do it all the time. Now, why does this work? Experts save you time. They've already made mistakes that you're trying to avoid. It is the direct shortcut. So instead of guessing, it points you straight to the high leverage actions. But here's the best part. There is a pro tip here. When you hire them, come prepared with specific questions and just maximize your session because they can go right into it as opposed to dealing with pleasantries or working through something where they don't know how serious you are. The key is to making sure that the expert understands that you are serious and then they will pour into you because they know that their time is valued tremendously by you. All right, so let's jump to phase 3 of what we're trying to do. So the phase 3 is how do you use AI to extract all the gold? And this is kind of like my favorite. I don't think I can live without AI anymore. AI is your secret weapon for cutting through all the clutter and finding the actionable insight. If you just do that, powerful things start to happen right away. So the question is, how do you use AI effectively? And let me actually break it down for you. Instead of asking generic questions, we should work on using precise prompts to extract that 20%. For example, you should say, hey, I'm learning this skill. My goal is this outcome in this time frame. So you can say, I'm learning to play the guitar. My goal is to play these 3 songs in the next 90 days. And then you ask, what are the top 3 high impact areas that I should focus on? Avoid generic advice and explain why these matter. This is a very specific prompt that allows you to harness the power of AI. This type of prompt ensures that AI gives you a focus and nuanced insights and not just surface level tips that it always tends to do. Now, here's an even more powerful thing. A lot of times we get books or PDFs or courses, etc. And here's what I like to do. I upload all these dense manuals or books and ask AI, what are the top takeaways I need to know? For online courses, I ask, which lessons are the most critical to achieving playing the guitar? AI helps you skip the fluff and get straight to what that matters. Now, this brings us to number 4, which is build a framework to learn forever. And most people, they just go through life learning, doing. Instead, if you can build a framework that you could put whatever you want in and learn forever, you now have the confidence that you can learn anything at any point, at any time with your framework. And so once you've learned from the experts and AI, don't stop there. It's important to document your knowledge into a repeatable system. I have always talked about this thing that I call the learning dogma. When you listen to something, you get to learn it once. When you teach something, you get to learn it twice. But when you document something, you get to learn it forever, right? So a lot of times when you just take your notes, it's not about just putting it into a Notion or putting it into a notebook. You want to try to figure out, how do these notes integrate with my life? Can I come up with a 3-part system to always let me think? For example, if somebody asks me about lead generation, I instantly go to, all right, is this organic? Is this paid? Or is this JV and activities? So organic is you post content, paid is you run ads, and JV is you joint venture with other people, or you do some activities like your door knock, your cold call, etc. Right? So now I know I've created a framework. So when someone shows me this idea of lead generation, I don't have to go back to my notes. I have a framework that I can instantly deploy because it's based on the learning dogma. When you listen to something, you get to learn it once. When you teach something, you get to learn it twice. But when you document something, you get to learn it forever. And when you have that in place, the document, the framework allows you to teach and transcend and never have to remember anything, because now your brain is just filled with all these tight concepts. And every time someone talks to you, they're like, wait, how does Sharran know so much? It's because you've learned it thoughtfully and you've learned it forever. All right, so how to build a framework. So the first step is to extract the key insights. Write down the most valuable lessons you learn, right? Extract the key insight. Number 2, just organize it. Turn those lessons into checklists or frameworks that you can use repeatedly. And the third is you teach or share it. Share your insights with others, and teaching helps solidify this knowledge. Now, here's my pro tip in all of this. Once I've come up with my framework, I just drop all of it into AI and I say, hey, here's the process for playing 10 songs on the guitar. Here's my framework that I came up with. Can you clean this up? Can you create this into a system for me? And I give it everything. And now I tell AI to do the heavy lifting where it builds an entire system for me. Now, 2 things are good when it comes to that. 1, you get a chance to have a really well-built system, and AI is good at that. 2nd, if someone ever asks you for it, you can hand that to them as opposed to your chicken scratch notes. The reason I say this is this approach ensures you don't just learn for today, you create a system that helps you grow for life. That's the cool part about building a system. Remember the learning dogma. When you listen to something, you get to learn it once. When you teach something, you get to learn it twice. But when you document something, get to learn it forever. Let's talk about my challenge to you. The next time you start a new project, don't waste your time figuring it out alone. Number 1, find an expert and use the DM script to ask for consulting. Number 2, use AI to extract the 20% that matters the most. Or number 3, document your process to create a framework that you can use forever. When you master the system, you won't just learn faster, you'll outperform everyone else. Hey, I'm not sure if this resonated with you or if you can use something like this in the future. So one request that I have for you is this. If this connected with you and you want me to make more podcasts like this, can you just screenshot this episode and post it and tag me? Because that way I can make more like this for you. So please do me a favor, screenshot this episode wherever you are, post it and tag me. That way I'll know you like this and I can make more like this for you. Catch you on the next one.